Welcome to the Magical Mommy Monday podcast. I'm Jen, and along with my co-host Angela, we have an exciting episode today. Cheap plug here, but over on my other podcast, Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz, my brother Frank and I recently interviewed the amazing Drew Boudreau. I knew he had to visit us here because he is a perfect mix of Disney, having worked on the Disney Cruise Line, and parenthood, as he now offers one-on-one coaching for college-bound performers through College Audition Pros. We're going to kick things off right in the midst of conversation as we cover everything from family reunions to Disney to theater and plenty of tangents in between. Enjoy! Please tell us that story.
So it was maybe our second cruise ever that we were performing for Disney Cruise Line. And we still were like, nobody knows who we are. We think we shouldn't be here. My God. And so the MC comes backstage and he's like, so is there anything that you would like me to say about you? And we didn't have a press kit. We didn't know what to give him. And we're like, just tell him that, we do improv shows in Southern California. There's nothing really special. He's like, okay, yeah, you got it, buddy. And he goes out on stage and we're back there and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, I am bringing to the stage a group so good and so famous. I'm sure you've heard of them. They've performed around the world. They do Fallon, they do Kimmel, they do Conan. When Oprah doesn't know who to call, she calls them, ladies and gentlemen, the unparalleled improv schmimprov. We're like, the expectations are so high.
You're like, the imposter syndrome. I can't go on stage.
Oh, man. I think actually that is the best.
Well, you got to kill it now.
Ever, yeah.
You gotta. What's the choice?
Well, that's it. Yeah, we couldn't suck that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We didn't have the option.
Yeah.
Oh, but when it's comedy, right sometimes when you think you hit the mark, no one laughs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very tricky. Comedy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's so funny because sometimes I'll just shotgun out a bunch of jokes. I'll be like, well, I'll send out 100 jokes and see what sticks. And normally I'm like, it'll hit or it won't. And it's the worst when you're like, this is a golden nugget. And you fire it and you get a, ha-ha. You're like, no!
You're like, this is all I had.
This was it. This is what I've been building towards. What happened?
Now what do I do? No, and in Minnesota, unfortunately, we're that really proper audience. So if you come to a comedy club here, we're not the roaring crowd. We're the you say something slightly inappropriate, we're like, we are low energy. So I always feel bad when comedians come and they say something and we're just the lowest energy ever. Because they're just Minnesota nice and really proper. It's just awful. Don't just
oh, that sounded like a mean joke. Oh no.
No, I don't like that. No.
My dad's family is all from Minnesota, so I have been to the homeland many a time. And,
where are they from?
They're from a very, very, very small town called Curry, which is in southern Minnesota. It's population 500 or something.
Okay.
But I think they're OG from Nebraska or the Dakotas, and then went to the metropolis that is Minnesota. And anytime I'm at a family reunion, there's always a talent show at the end of it. And someone plays piano, someone plays guitar, and then I'll usually do stand-up. And it is, it is the worst because it's Minnesota nice. You can't tell if you're only not funny or if they're just giving you sympathy laughs.
Yeah, it's awful.
One of those is true.
It is. And I get that almost secondhand embarrassment for the comedian because I'm oh, you must feel so bad right now. I'm so sorry. But then I'm being the epitome of a Minnesotan, just even feeling that way.
But can I just side note here? You have family reunions and you have talent shows at the end of them. I mean, is this a normal thing I don't think I've had a family reunion. So is this a normal thing?
I mean, in my family, yes. But here's the thing. My family, my dad's side, he is one of 11.
Okay.
And so huge Catholic family.
Yeah.
So, that to me, that's my immediate family is like the 50 or 60 some odd people. But then my dad's mother, like she was one of like 6 or 7. And so it's, the entire Boudreau and whatever other maiden names and married names there are. So, family reunions are often 200, 300 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to have some entertainment going.
You gotta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Brent's gonna play some Mozart, and then Drew's gonna do some of his skit, huh? His stand-up skits.
I need to bring that up at my family get-togethers because we do like Christmas carols because we have a musical family. So we got, Johnny's the baritone and Mike's the tenor and I'm the soprano too. And then Stevie over here plays the piano and someone gets out their trombone and their trumpet. So we got the more like Christmas carol singing going on, but I want to see how a talent show would work.
I guarantee you the Christmas caroling is far better.
But I mean, now I'm just curious at this point.
Now you want to just do it and like punk your whole family. This year, we're going to change it up
at
a
my
little
house,
bit.
so you have to do what I say.
I came up with a fun new game for everybody.
Get out.
You also have a big family, Angela?
We also are Catholic. So so my mom has 5 kids in her family. My dad has 5 kids in his family. And there's 4 kids in mine. My parents have 15 grandchildren. So
that's a lot of birthdays.
Yeah.
I know. Swear to God, my husband, he doesn't know half the names of my nieces and nephews. He's like, which one is that?
Oh, yeah. I feel that. Like because I have about 50 cousins.
Oh my gosh.
So when they started having children, it was like the baby of the month club. It was like, oh, another one.
Yeah.
And so like those kids, I don't know their names. And so like they're all like in high school or college now. And I'm like, oh, it's one of the people who was a baby when I was in high school. So I really wasn't interested in you and I haven't followed your progression.
Is this like a 3rd degree of separation with Kevin Bacon thing? Like, is that how close we are?
Right.
I get it.
Yeah, we also did, I don't know if you do this for your Christmases, Santa visits at the big Boudreau Christmases when it's like all 50 or 60 of us. And so all the men take turns being Santa every year. So it's like, so there exists a box that has the Santa beard and the boots and the outfit and the sack. And so whoever is hosting Christmas that year, the box gets shipped to them. And whatever man's turn it is, he has to do Santa that night.
So how often are these items cleaned?
I mean, whenever it gets cleaned, that'll be the first time.
Exactly. We used to have, I feel like my uncle and my dad would dress up here and there, but some years they just got lazy and would literally just knock on the window. Like we'd be
a thing.
Like we'd be at my grandmother's house on Christmas Eve and there would just be like a hand on the window knocking. It's like, that was Santa.
That's creepy.
It's extremely creepy. There is a picture of my cousin. I'll have to post it. Me and my cousin and Santa, aka Papadillo. And things you don't think of when you're 7 is the work gloves that my dad was wearing because there was no Santa gloves. So it's just like worker gloves on. I'm like, wait a second. Wow. See the things you don't notice when you're a kid.
So like, is this like a thing where Santa comes to family things? Like, is that like do a lot of people do this?
I mean, we haven't kept it going, but
people do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we're just unusual in that sense because it's still, I mean, it was going when I was, 3, 4 years old and I'm 37 now and it's still going strong.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, we got that Catholic background. Did you guys do St. Nick's Day on like the 6th, December 6th, where they fill up your stockings and you get your stockings then in early December?
December 6th?
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of travel. I mean, for Santa, I mean.
I mean, it's St. Nick. This is how Catholic we are. I'm just saying. This is
okay. So
that's another
let me
level of
back up
Catholic.
and perhaps address this more correctly. My father's family is Catholic, so I go to family Catholic events.
Yes.
My mother is Jewish, and I consider myself Jewish.
Okay.
None of the family members of my dad's family, except for his oldest sister, Aunt Kay, who has worked for the church her entire life, none of them are like particularly devout Catholics.
Yes. Okay.
So this is the first I've heard that Saint Nick has another work day.
Yeah.
This is me wondering why I didn't get Santa coming to my house and everyone else did apparently. So I'm like, is it because I celebrated St. Nick's Day? I don't get it. Did he come too early?
No, I mean, when you on Christmas Day, though, did you get presents from Santa?
Question.
Okay. So we had to go to midnight mass on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we would open our presents then.
Yeah.
Night mass and then go to like Denny's and eat breakfast. So we didn't open presents on Christmas Day.
But did you get any presents from Santa Claus?
We did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But on Christmas Eve.
Oh man, I think we did things wrong, you guys. I don't think we did it right. My mom always said, she's like, well, Santa has a lot of gift, delivering to do. So, sometimes he sends the parents to go buy the presents. Because we always wondered why there were gifts under the tree for like weeks leading up to Christmas.
I'm sorry that we're bringing a lot to light.
What is happening with you being on the show, Drew? What have you done?
I appreciate that kind of semi-transparency from a parent, though.
Yeah.
It's a nice way to like let a kid down a little bit softer when they turn like 9, and like instead of like a Christopher Nolan, M. Night Shyamalan, like Tyler Durden reveal of like, there's no Santa Claus.
There's no
At 9,
Santa.
you're like, oh, I get it. Oh, this all makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I know I'm going to drop this soon, I promise. But where do parents who deliver the presents on Christmas Day, where do they put the presents
They hide
before
them.
then?
They hide them.
The attic?
Yeah. What's in the attic? They hide them in the basement, in closets.
Closets, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, I grew up with 3 older brothers. They would have found those in like 5 minutes. Wow, no wonder this is how we did it. I get it now.
Interesting.
Okay,
It's all very interesting. We got to talk to Mama Terry about that.
Yep. I'm going to call my mom after this.
Yeah.
What did you do to me?
What happened? Tell me how it actually was.
I'm different from everyone now.
Do you know what the post office does? And I don't have an answer to this, but do you know what the post office does to letters that are addressed to Santa Claus?
They do give you a response.
Really?
They do.
I don't know, and I feel like there are some charities that will work to write back
Yeah.
the kids.
That's cool.
I don't know if it always happens. See, we used to leave our letters to Santa by the fireplace, and then we'd go somewhere, and then they'd be gone when we got back because Santa took it up through the chimney magically.
Wow. My kids give me their letters, and I put them in a drawer. Oh gosh, I feel like, okay, we need to change the subject. People are going to think I'm the worst parent ever.
You're like batting 0 for 5 with this, Angela.
I put it in a drawer. Yep,
Well, I look forward to this Christmas when Santa Drew stops by Angela's house and
on his way to Curry, Minnesota.
exactly using the same suit. I want that same suit.
I'm in Southeast Minnesota. It's close enough for you.
The suit never fits either because it's made for the average American man who's like 5'10", 5'11", and here I am all of 5'3", so I'm swimming in this thing. And I don't know one child who I feel should not realize it's Uncle Drew because there's only one cousin who's this height in the entire family.
You probably do the best Santa impression though out of anyone.
Yeah.
I gotta say, it's a really low bar, but because I'm the only professional performer in the family.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to hear it now.
Mm-hmm.
It goes like this. Ho, ho, ho. It's very easy.
Okay. Yeah, you nailed it. Just crushed it.
I guess we should start like some sort of official podcast, right?
I have heard that you were working on the same cruise ship that Jen was actually on. Is this true?
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know this? Like, did you see each other?
Frank tagged us
Kind
on
of.
Facebook. But at that time, my schedule was like wacky, absolutely like through the roof. Could not talk to anybody that particular week that Jen was on board.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
But it's so funny because we had not remembered that until, so Drew was on Theme Park Thursday recently. And as we're talking, Frank brought it up and we're like, oh, I do remember that because we went for our 1 year anniversary on the Disney Wonder. And so he had tagged us because he knew someone from Macy's Santaland.
Yeah.
And then Drew, and then us. And he said, I have 3 worlds colliding on the same ship this week. This is so weird. And so we had been going back and forth in the comments. Like I dug up the old post from 2013. So we were going back and forth in the comments. I like give my stateroom away to strangers, you know, like you do on Facebook.
yeah.
And I'm like, hey, Drew, here's our room number. Just call me, whatever. We'll get together. So that never
it was a
happened.
different time. He was busy.
And yeah, we didn't even think about it until, let's see, how many years later? 8 years later.
Yeah.
He never called me.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about this, I remember why. And it was because on Disney, they are extremely strict about not hanging out with a guest who's not your personal guest.
Yeah.
And I think that was the reason. I don't think it was that I was too busy.
Yeah.
It was that because you're a guest who's not a member of my immediate family, I could be fired for like having a Coke with you up top.
Right.
You're right, Jen.
Yeah.
He is good at improv.
Yeah. Right? Seriously. Whatever. So we have been mentioning Frank is because Drew was a student of Frank's when Frank was teaching at Stony Brook University back in the day.
I didn't even know. I didn't know Frank was a teacher.
Mr. MFA in dramaturgy, of course he was. So being from LA, you went to high school in LA?
Well, Orange County.
Or the in California, we'll leave it simple. So because we'll also touch on this later with your current role, how did you get to New York and pick Stony Brook and get into theater and all of it? Tell us that whole journey of a young Drew leaving high school.
I want to be a star. I was in theater, since I was a little kid, since I was about 4. I was doing musicals, and then I was, big into theater in high school. I knew I wanted to go to college for it, but I ran into a snag. I graduated high school, and I had a really, really bad coach doing what I do now, but doing it badly. And they were like, hey, you should only be at like these super expensive private colleges. And I know that your family can't afford it. So you should go to community college first and then transfer to like, NYU or Emerson or Boston Conservatory or something. And I was like, okay, I'm 18. And so I did a few years at community college, but they don't tell you that if you're a creative person who's not doing creative things, you go a little cuckoo bananas. And so I was always an A student. And by the time I was done with community college, I was a D student. Oh, wow. My GPA had slipped to below a 2.0. And I was applying to colleges. And by then, those colleges that we had set our sights on are also pretty academically high. Yeah, Emerson, NYU, et cetera, et cetera. So I had no shot of getting into those schools. So how did I get to Stony Brook? They took me, the suckers.
Showed them.
I just kind of landed there, and I was like, woohoo, I landed someplace. Hooray! And it was a non-audition program by that time. And it was great. It was exactly what I needed because looking back on it, I always felt like I wasn't like musical theater-y enough for the musical theater crowd. And now that I'm older, I'm like, well, that's because I'm not purely musical theater. It's because I enjoy other things.
Yeah.
And so if I was at just a musical theater school, I would be miserable because I would be like, I want to do improv and sketch and write plays and that kind of stuff. So Stony Brook ended up being great because it was a general theater program.
Yeah.
And I got to take classes like Frank's where like we got to dissect plays, which was super fun. And then also do like, you know, plays and musicals and that kind of stuff.
You're from California, right?
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah.
And then you moved to New York.
Yeah.
And that's where you met Frank.
In college.
Then what'd you do?
I'm so glad you asked. So I in college, I planned as far as graduation day. And I just can't believe this happened to me because I'm normally such a good planner. Like May 23rd came and it hit me. I was like, oh my God. I didn't think a single day past this. Oh my God. Like it just never dawned on me to think past graduation. And so I was like, I guess I'm going home because I didn't make any plans. So I went home to California and I was like, well, I guess I'm a stage manager now. And so I was a stage manager for the Walt Disney Company. I stage managed, some regional musicals and stuff, but I started working for the Aladdin show at Disney California Adventure. And then I hopped upon the cruise line as a stage manager, where I was on the Magic and the Wonder. And all the while, though, in my heart of hearts, I wanted to be a performer. And I was just too scared to do it because, I thought, I'm not musical theater enough to make a living in musical theater. And I was like, no, I don't know. And there's one show on the Disney Cruise Line called The Golden Mickeys. And it's every musical that Disney does live, not including like the book shows, is just a very thin plot to get from one hit song to the next.
Yeah.
And this one, the thin plot is, as you know, it's about a stage manager trying to keep an awards show together. And at the end of it, the stage manager, who really wants to be a performer, steps into that role, feels totally satisfied. There's a whole parade for her, curtain down, and I had to stage manage this show.
Oh my gosh.
Every night, I had this tear roll down my face that I had to suck back into my eyeball and be like, keep it together. And finally, after about a year and a half, I was like, I can't take it anymore. And I took my headset off and I just decided I was going to go into performing. And that was it. I was done. That was the last day that I would stage manage. And I went to my boss's office. I was like, the next American port we get off in, I'm leaving. And he was like, yes, do it. Yeah, live your life, pursue your dreams. And I was like, yes. And so I opened a copy of Backstage the day I got home. And I saw they were auditioning for Allie Hackham in Oklahoma. And I hadn't auditioned in like 10 years. And I said, what the heck? I sent in a video. And the next day they said, can you be here tomorrow? We open in 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, if that is not a higher power telling me I'm where I should be, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
I feel like this happened to me with how excited I am for you right now. I'm like, live your dreams. This is great. I'm so happy. That was such a good story. You told it so well. You're a really good storyteller.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a horrible storyteller. So like,
You're
I
not.
really admire people who can tell stories.
She's not.
No, I am. Like, I stop listening to myself while I'm telling a story. And then I
Isn't that the worst? I feel you.
come back in at some point. I'm like, oh no, I should have listened.
Where am I in this story? I forget.
Like, are they still with me? Because I'm not.
So was Oklahoma in California or New York?
It was in California. It was in Northern California, not far from Yosemite.
Okay.
Which was the friggin' best because I love the forest. I love the mountains and the woods. And so we worked 5 days a week and had a full weekend off. We had 2 full days off.
That's perfect.
Which you could just hike into Yosemite and it was just backpack for a couple days and then come back and do a musical and someone's paying you. Like, what?
Right?
This is ridiculous.
Oh my God.
Living the life. I love it.
It was great.
You're kind of living up to the song lyrics or speech lyrics or whatever of Wear Sunscreen. Baz Luhrmann, anyone? No? Where he says, live in Northern California once, but leave before it makes you soft, and live in New York City once and leave before it makes you hard.
I
You
like
lived in both
Gosh.
places.
You're that
Yes.
song.
Yes.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
and first of all, guys, how do you not know that? So I'm sending it to both of you after
Okay,
this.
yeah, I don't
because
know.
I love it. I'm obsessed.
I'm sorry, I don't know it. Sorry, I'll listen.
It's like
You know
a
where I want to
speed.
live is I
Minnesota?
want to buy a house someday. I want to buy a house in like Fayetteville, Arkansas, or Louisville, Kentucky,
Oh,
or somewhere outside of Georgia. We toured a lot of those places on the Rudolph tour, and I was like, this is so cute and quaint, and I can buy a house for the same cost of like 1 month's rent in Los Angeles. I would like this, please.
Oh, that's right. LA. I suppose. Yeah, the cost of living on that end is probably way cheaper. Oh my gosh. I'm like trying to go through what you're going through right now. Why don't you do that? Oh my gosh.
Why is that happening?
I know. I'm like, make that happen. Can you do what you do now in different state?
Yes. Like my business, absolutely. I can do this from anywhere. I can do this like on a houseboat. Who cares? Because I work entirely remotely.
Right.
The only issue is I want to be able to look back and say, I took a real swing of things in New York City for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And I moved to New York and then COVID happened. And I was like,
oh
gosh darn it. No, that was my year of doing it. So
that's what I was going to ask. When did you go back to New York again? Because I know you were living, because I know you're in LA right now, but I knew you had gone back to New York. Okay.
Yeah. I moved to New York in the fall of 2019. And I was only there for a few months. And then I did the Rudolph tour. And then I moved back to New York for like a month. And I was like, here we go. It's audition season.
It's my year.
It's my year to shine. Nothing can go wrong now. It's 1929 and I just bought stocks. Woohoo! And then I was like, I got my equity card. And they were like, great. We got him. Let's shut down Broadway. I was like, no.
Let's do something we've never done before. Shut it all down. Turn off the lights. Let's do it.
And you know what? The way I joined equity too, I don't advise this to anyone. If you've ever been in New York, actors who are listening, there's the Actors Equity building in Midtown. And that's where a lot of the auditions are. And you can audition if you're not equity. It's just where they're housed. But there are certain privileges that equity members get that you normal peons don't. And I was a normal peon. And I was like, hey, the sign up list for the extra slots, can I go in the room and sign up? She's like, well, you need your equity membership to go in that room. I was like, yeah, but that list is for the people who aren't equity. So can I go in there and sign up? Because that's where my name goes. She's like, yeah, but you have to be equity to go in the room where the non-equity list is housed. And I was like, and I was
but then why is it there?
Right. And I was like Mrs. White from Clue, just like flames inside of my face.
Flames.
And so I go down to the 6th floor where the admin is. And I go to the window. And I just had a lot of money in my pocket. And I said, look, I have my points. Here is $600. You make me equity right now. And they're like, yes, sir. Here's your card, sir. And I walked right back up and I was like, hello, I am here to audition. Bam.
And that was it.
And that was it.
I don't think that's a bad way to do it.
Luckily, I've been able to focus on what I do outside of acting, which is help students get into colleges for theater. And so that has been my main focus in this last year. I've also learned how to pick locks. I learned how to knit a little bit, and I learned some French.
Ooh,
Look at you.
busy. You've been productive.
It's all that TikTok content. That's why.
Oh, and doing a lot of TikTok. Yeah, that's great.
You too and your TikTok. I have not figured it out yet. And there's so many singing duets that I want to do. And I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Because it looks like people pre-record their voices and then record themselves like singing over the recording. Because I tried to duet and my voice was not in sync.
There.
I can't do it. I don't know.
We're gonna get you to do it.
Yeah, you know what? See me after class.
Yeah,
I'll show you how to do it.
I just want to duet with Disney songs and I can't. I don't know how.
Yeah, no, we'll make it happen. Yeah.
Oh well, you know what? That's tough because Disney is so protective of their property. I have made a lot of Disney TikToks that have gone viral, and then like a week later, the sound is erased.
It's so rude.
I know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But your LeFou one was really good.
Oh, thank you. Did you see my Maurice one from Beauty and the Beast?
No.
Well, the sound has been erased, but the joke is, how would you end Beauty and the Beast in like under 30 seconds? And the joke is Maurice is lost in the forest going, oh, I've lost my way to the fair. And then he sees a sign that says, this way, the fair. He goes, well, great, bye. Show over.
That's it. Oh, I love Beauty and the Beast. That was so good. And I saw that show. It's so good. Okay, now I'm thinking about TikTok and I can't talk. Okay, we need to move on.
Okay, let's talk a little more about College Audition Pro. Can you give us some more background on it? How did this come to life? I have more questions, but let's just do background first.
I was doing production, and we would go out to eat afterwards at Applebee's, which was the only place open in this small town after 10 o'clock. And one of the leads was like, getting Jell-O shots and appetizers. And I was like, how the heck are you affording this? Because I know what they pay you. It's a little bit more than what they pay me, and I ain't getting that much.
And that sampler platter is not cheap.
Right. I don't care how happy that hour is. That's more than you make. And she was like, oh, I help kids prep for college auditions. And I was like, bing. Mm-hmm. And so now she worked for a company. I started my own company. And so I've been doing it this is our 6th year doing it. And we started with, one student the first year, and the next year we had 2, and then the next year we had 5, and now we're up to about 30, which is great. It's gone from a side gig into my main hustle, and a la the Bad News Bears, like Walter Matthau's eventual love of the children has also been my journey of this is just some extra income to I want these kids to get in everywhere. My dreams for them. Yay for them. Yeah. And it's so rewarding. So rewarding to help these kids through this unbelievably complicated journey. It's tough for the kids. I think it's harder for the parents because I don't know what it's like to have children, but I imagine it is very scary to put your trust in someone else for your child's dreams to come true. Yeah. And they just don't know what this process is like. I mean, applying to college, let alone applying to a specific realm of college that most of these parents are not performers. Yeah. And then having the money to pay for a college education. And so my big focus before we even start doing anything is getting transparency from the family and saying, hey, look, you tell me how much you have saved up for this, because I don't want your kid to get into a school and then realize they can't afford it if you haven't talked to them. Yeah. So starting from the very beginning, let's find schools that are in your budget. So when you get in, you can go right away,
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you think, you went through the process yourself. Do you think that theater programs are more competitive now than they were then?
Yeah, much more so. As more schools have, when you and I were in high school, there were only a few BFAs in the country for musical theater. Yeah. Now there's over 300 BFAs in musical theater across the country, which is wild. Yeah. And so that now that has become the standard, the minimum standard for a pre-professional degree. So the ones that were big before, NYU, Emerson, Boston Conservatory, Michigan, have gotten twice as big because now everyone wants to go to the best schools. And with, the internet coming a long way in 20 years, now everyone knows about these top schools. Yeah. And so you have, sometimes 2,000 students auditioning for 12 spots. So it's become significantly more competitive.
Yeah.
Part of my job also is to steer families away from the uber competitive schools if it's not perfect for them. I don't think it matters at all where you graduate from in the name. It's sort of the opposite of that Operation Varsity Blues of they wanted their kid to graduate from USC because it says USC on it. Yeah. Right. And maybe that makes sense if you're going to the School of Business or the film school. That does carry a certain extra weight to it. But like with theater, if you get in the room and you're good, who cares where you graduated from?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's these great schools that are less competitive, cost half as much as other schools, and it's going to set them on a great course for life.
I love that you you get their perspective, like what can you afford? And I'm sure it kind of depends on where they want to stay in the country too.
Yes.
If they want to stay in the Midwest or East Coast, West Coast. And I really love that their successes become your successes because it shows how passionate you are for your job, and then it keeps you keeping and continuing wanting to do it year after year because I can tell or I can see how the first year, 1 student, second year, 2 students, you're like, okay, well, it's a side gig, whatever. But look how it's become your full-time job now. And you have 30 students. And on your website, I see that you have a bunch of other people that work with you.
Yes, I do. I've got my guy, Russ. He was the genie in the Aladdin show when I was the stage manager. I found out working with him that musical theater is just a thing he did to make a living. His training is in Shakespeare. And so he's my Shakespeare coach. I do not have a classical background in acting, whereas that's what he has his master's degree in. And so whenever there's a Shakespeare audition, I say, go see Russ. Whenever there is someone who needs help with their dance, I say, go see Oscar. And so I have a whole team, including academic partners, which really makes life easy for families to not have to go to 5 different places, but I can say, we got you covered artistically and academically.
Yeah, let's stop shop. I love that.
Yeah.
So aside from your website, collegeauditionpros.com, how else can parents start this process with you?
They can work with me. I am hugely active on Facebook. College Audition Pros is everywhere on Facebook and also on the Instagram. You can always direct message me on Facebook. My assistant will either get back to you with the information that you want, or they will forward your message on to me and I will get back to you directly. We also have the summer intensive coming up, which I am so freaking excited about. It's in person because I don't know if you saw the study that came out today that said the Pfizer vaccine for children 15 through 17 is 100% effective.
Is that awesome?
So our faculty is already fully vaccinated, and it looks like a lot of our children will already be vaccinated as well by the time it starts in July.
Amazing.
We've got Michigan, Carnegie Mellon, Chico State, Texas State, University of Alabama, Syracuse, Oklahoma City, and Baldwin Wallace all coming to work with the students.
Wow.
Jessica Vosk, who was Elphaba on Broadway for a long time, is going to do a Broadway masterclass. We're doing a financial aid boot camp for all the parents. And we've got a mock audition with a bunch of Broadway stars who I am not revealing until the students walk in the room and fall down dead. We are doing a 2 for 1, 2 kids for one, the cost of only 1 student through the middle of April. So if they want to capitalize on that, there it is.
So when should Jen and I be there? Because that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Let's see. It ends on August 1st. Are you available on the 2nd or the 3rd?
I'll make time.
I'll make time. And hopefully Disneyland will be open by then too. Which, oh my gosh, wouldn't that be cool? You fly across the country, you get to do this Broadway boot camp, and then you get to go to Disneyland.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I was actually thinking, I'm like, Drew would be the best person to go to Disneyland with.
Oh my God. I'm not kidding. I would love to go to Disneyland with you too.
Oh, okay.
Make it happen.
Well, you'll go to Walt Disney World with us. And then we're going to go to Disney World or Disneyland with you because I've not been there since I was 5 and I went for a half day. So I don't remember anything.
Oh my God.
And Frank and I have never been there.
I need to be reintroduced.
Oh my gosh. You've never been to Disneyland, Jen.
We need to do this.
Crazy.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, this is it. Oh, I'm stoked.
The energy level will be at a 20. I'm just warning you.
Yeah.
This is so exciting. I'm going to be like the kid who shows the other kid all his toys when he comes to visit. I'll be like, and these are the rockets, and they go around in a circle. This is Star Tours.
Yep. And the other kids will be like, oh my gosh, it's so cool, Mom. I want this too. Where's mine? Yeah. No, I'm totally on board. We're doing this.
I love it.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I know that you have a student to get to, but do you have time to tell everyone where they can find you on social media, Drew?
Of course. If you want to find me personally, Hair Toss, I'm Drew Boudreau, Boudreau. I'm on the Instagrams and the TikToks and the Facebook, all at that handle. Check me out on TikTok. I do a lot of musical theater jokes. That's pretty much all I do is just musical theater jokes. Very niche audience. If you want to find me on the socials for college audition help, I'm simply College Audition Pros on Facebook and the Instagram. And very soon, I will be College Audition Pros on the TikTok, separating my personal account from my business account. Because here's the thing about TikTok. They don't like when you go off brand. So when I make a joke, it's like 100 million people watch it. When I say, come to my summer intensive, they're like, you piece of dirt. We're not
promoting yourself.
Right.
You just sucked us in with your jokes.
Right.
Sell yourself? Disgusting. Unfollow.
The algorithm knows, man. It is harsh. It is real harsh.
Too. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. I hope you're having a great day, night, whatever you're doing, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Magical Mommy Monday podcast. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Magical Mommy Monday, on Twitter at Magic Mom Monday, or you can email us at magicalmommymondays@gmail.com. The music you heard on this episode was produced by Matt Harvey. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.